Yesterday we did some notes. I just want to go over the last part of it where we did these three problems. So yesterday we talked about how to plug it into y equals and then look at the table. And you get to decide whether you want to use substitution or look at the table. When you do your delta math, you are going to have to show your work. Showing work could mean just writing the table and using your calculator. Or it could be where we actually did substitution. Okay, so let's look at the first one. It was 3x squared minus 9. So we're reviewing yesterday's real quick. So you should have this in. Make sure you put the x, the squared, and then come back down and do minus 9. Make sure you put minus 9 and not negative 9. Then we'll look at our table. Second graph. And we want to look at when x is 1, what is y? X is 1, y is negative 6. So f of 1 equals negative 6. The next one was a little bit longer. Go to y equals, clear out what's there. Negative 2x squared plus x minus 8. Make sure you're practicing this with me. Then we're going to go to second graph and look where x is 9 because it says what is f of 9. So you arrow up or down. Second graph. Go all the way down to 9. So we get negative 161. So f of 9 equals negative 161. Yep. Okay, and then the last one, negative x squared minus 5x minus 9. Go in to y equals, clear out what's in there. Plug it in, negative. Make sure you're using the negative sign. X squared minus 5x minus 9.
Is that F or F9?
9.
Wow.
And then we look at where f is negative 9, so we go the opposite direction. And it's negative 45, yeah. So if you get any kind of error message, make sure you click go to. So let's say I put in minus right there and I went to my table and it gave me an error message. When it gives you an error message, click go to, like go down. A lot of people just want to hit enter and get out of there. But the thing is, if you click go to, it'll tell you where your error is. So if you look at mine, my mistake was I put minus x squared instead of negative. So I change it to a negative and it fixes it. I go to my table and it's correct. So anytime you get an error message, always click go to. Okay, so let's look at today's notes. Function notation with comparing and graphs. So let's look at our first example. Given the function f of x equals x cubed and g of x equals 3 times 4 to the x, which of the following statements is true? So the statements that will be listed on Delta Math will be like f of 3 is equal to or greater than or less than g of 3. So you're comparing them. So what you'll have to do is you'll actually have to find f of 3. You can substitute it in like this one's done. 3 raised to the 4th power is 81. And then g of 3 is 3 times 4 raised to the 3rd power is 192. Then you compare them. So this is our f of 3. F of 3 is 81. The 192 is our g of 3. So we're going to know how they compare to each other because they're the same x value, but they have different functions. One function is x to the 4th power. The other function is 3 times 4 raised to the x. And so you use an inequality to compare them. So 81 is less than 192. So that means f of 3 is less than g of 3. So let's look at the next example. Given the function f of x equals 3x squared and g of x equals 4 times 2 raised to the x, which of the following statements is true? So look at our answer choices. We're going to compare f of 4 to g of 4 because that's what our options are giving us. So in order to compare them, we need to find what is f of 4. So you could use the table, the y equals in the table, or you can use substitution, either one. So let's say I want to use the table. Then I'm going to go into y equals, and I'm going to put in the f function, 3x squared. Y'all follow along. $3x squared. And then go to the table. And we want to look at whenever the x value is 4. So go up or down, whatever way you... It's 48. So now we need to do g of 4. So we need to go back to y equals, clear out what's in there, and plug in the next one. 4 times 2. How do I do raised to the x power? This little caret top. Right underneath clear.
Oh, yeah, and you put whatever it's.
Whatever your exponent is. So whenever you push the caret top, it takes it up to the top. Or it does the little caret top and then you put your exponent. So make sure you know how to put this in. 4 times 2 raised to the x power. And we want to know whenever g, or what g of 4 is. So what is x? 4, so it equals 64, yeah.
So g of 4 is greater than f of 4?
Yeah, but we're doing it the other way. You want to do the f function first.
F of 4 is less than g of 4. So it's
Start putting what do you Which one are you getting? Well, let's do g of 4. So you do g of x. 4 times 2 raised to x. That's close. That's close. But it's supposed to be times. X. Yeah. And then let's go 4. 60. So we want to look at f of 4 compared to g of 4. So it's 48 and 64. So g of 4 is going to be less than. So then what's our answer?
Oh, the third one.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So delta math is going to give you different numbers for x. In this case, they gave you 4 for x. On this one too. Let's look at the next one. F of x is 2x to the 5th. And g of x is 8 times 4 to the x. Which of the following statements is true? So we're finding f of 4 and g of 4. So go back to y equals, push clear, and let's put in the f function. 2x raised to the 5th. And if you want to come back down from the exponent, just arrow over, and it'll come back down.
20.
So, oh yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 214.
Okay, now go back to y equals. You know you can put these in at the same time.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, so what I could do in y2 is go ahead and put that one in. So instead of, so this is my y1, this is my y2. I can't see that. And so I could go ahead and do that. Just have to remember which one's which.
Yeah, the same. Like 20.
Oh, they're the same.
So it's the first one.
Yep. You can put them in at the same time, y1, y2, or you can put them in separately. So whenever you do your delta math, you do have to show some kind of work whenever you do it so that you can earn full credit. I'll have to check yours. Remind me again. All right, let's look at the graphs. The graphs, we don't have to use the calculator on. So put your calculator to the side, and let's look at function notation on graphs. The graph of the function f of x is shown below. Find the following: f of 2, f of negative 2, f of negative 5, f of 0. So remember what f of x means? If I have f of 2, what is that telling me? That's saying when x is 2, what is y? So it's when x equals 2, y equals question mark. That's what that's asking. So we need to go to when x is 2. So it's kind of like the point 2 comma something. We would need to find the coordinates for that. Because f of 2, f of x, 2 is x. So we would look at the coordinate when x is 2. Where is the y value? 5. It's right here. 2 comma 5. So f of 2 is 5. So it's point D. I'm going to write that here too. Point D. All right, let's go to the next one. F of negative 2. That means when x is negative 2, so it's the coordinate of negative 2 comma something. Positive 2. It's right here. Negative 2, 2. So it is point B. Negative 2, positive 2. Accident. All right, let's look at the next one. F of negative 5. So that means negative 5 comma something. So negative 5. Positive 7, yeah. So that's point A. That's a 7, by the way. So that was that point. All right, and then one last one. F of 0 means when x is 0, y is X means 0 left and right. -2. So it's -2, and it's point C. Okay, looking at the graph, doing function notation, hard or easy? Easy. I hope. All right, let's look at, so this is called a discrete, right? It's just points on a graph. This is discrete. What are these? They're continuous because they continue on. So it says find the following. The one on the left says y equals f of x. The other one says y equals g of x. So look at our problems. We have the f functions, and then we have the g functions. So you're doing the same thing. When x is 2, what is y? So let's go to the 2. I'm going over 2, and then where is the coordinate? 8. So 2, 8. F of 2 means x is 2. So you go over to 2 and then find where it crosses. So it's at 8. So if we want, we can write this, 2, 8. X is 2. F of x, or y, is 8. All right, let's see. F of -2. You go over to -2. Go ahead and do the rest of them. I'm going to give you a minute to do that.
Let's go first one. Right.
So whenever you do this, remember your x values and your y values. X represents left or right. So whenever I say f of -2, that means I'm going left to -2, and then I want to find where my curve is. I can't go up because the curve or the line or function, whatever it is not there. So I have to go down. So it's right here at -7. So that point is at -2, -7. So that means my f function is -7. So it's -2, -7. So then you would do f of -5. So go over to -5, and then I want to find out where it crosses exactly. Crosses exactly at +2. That point was at -5, +2. F of 0, that means x value is going to be 0. Go down to the -3. So it's at 0, -3. So then the g functions are from the g function because it tells us right here, this is the g of x. So g of 0 means I'm going to go left or right 0, but then I want to find my line. It goes up to 5. So that is 5. And the reason because it has the 0.05.
If it's a G in a number or if it's an F in a number, is it still written in the table the same way?
Yep.
So it's just
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just the name of the function, the g or the f. All right, and then 4, I'd go over to 4 up to 9 because that's where the function is. So this coordinate is 4, 9. G of -2, I'd go over, up, I get 3. So -2, 3. And then -7, I'd go over to -7. It crosses at -2. Okay, so make sure you complete your Delta Math. Show some kind of work, whether it's the table or your substitution. Glue these two in and complete.